Ooh-wee. It's been about a month and a half since we've heard that voice or that sound.
Yeah, it's been a wild month, man. A lot of things happened.
Shit happened.
We canceled the show. Fuck this.
It was funny because I was going through some of the comments and one person's like, "Look, no rush, but are you guys okay?"
Wait, did someone put that on Spotify?
Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean, look, a lot of shit happened. I mean, Cleet's computer exploded, and then we had audio issues, and then both of us got sick, and then audio issues again.
I got my computer fixed, and it exploded, and now I'm off on our second computer. I had to move it into a different room completely, and we're just gonna go with it. You know, I was actually doing some deep thoughts today. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when we used to work at a telecommunications giant, and I came to you with a query just saying like, hey, like if you could choose between getting $1 million now, but being severely lactose intolerant for the rest of your life, like, would you take the money? I think you and I think both agreed that we would not take the money because we really like cheese, you know, everything that comes with that, just with dairy. And you know, I have just gotten very lactose intolerant.
Really?
Since then. And now I'm kind of thinking about it. Like, if I had to pay $1 million to be able to eat cheese just fine and dairy, would I do it? And the answer would be no. And really? I question like what that means around the human psyche, right? Because I think like there's something there. Like winning money is different than losing money. Like we weigh it differently, right? Because if I were to go back, I mean, I was pretty like, I was always saying like, yeah, I wouldn't take the money. But now that I'm in the reverse situation because of genes, I wouldn't spend the money to get it. Like if someone just said, hey, we have a cure, but it's going to be very expensive. It's not covered by insurance. It's $1 million. I wouldn't pay for it. Like I wouldn't sell my house. I wouldn't like get rid of my 401k.
Like,
I mean, there's something there, right? It's like the gambler's fallacy.
Yeah.
Like they're so cool losing money they won. But if they lose money from their principal, it hurts so much more. You know? Right.
I'm not going to uproot my family and everything just so I can eat some sweet cheddar. Like that's not going to happen.
Some sweet. Sorry, little Timmy. We're not going to be having Christmas for the next 18 years.
Yeah. But goddamn, like lactose intolerant would be rough. And it's crazy that it took you, over 30 years to develop this in your life?
I think it happens later in life for a lot of people. I've been taking a lot of supplements from Costco just to be able to eat it. But we had Papa Murphy's today. It's a good pizza place, by the way.
Fucking you up.
Their chicken garlic is good. I took the supplements still. It wasn't good, man. I'm like at the point where it's like, I don't think I can have dairy anymore. It just sucks.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I've been having some weird issues too, not to get into it, but I was thinking like it was either gluten or I wonder if it is dairy because it's been weird.
I think it's dairy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've even heard stories from people that think they're gluten intolerant, like my brother. They stopped eating dairy and then they could eat gluten again. So
interesting. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to try it. That'd be weird if both of us just like randomly just can't have fucking cheese.
That's what happens. Like that's natural. As you get older, the genes don't express for whatever reason, which is weird. You know, like why would your body just be like, you know what? I don't need that nutrition. Fuck it.
We're done with it. Done with it. I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen. I'll have to try it and see because, something's been a little off, but,
yeah.
Anyway, folks, sorry for the long absence. Like Cleet said, life has been lifing 100%. So, but we're back. And Cleet, what the hell are you drinking this evening?
Well, I'm drinking. Hang on a sec here. Junior Astronaut Juice. And do you see that little thing on there, Britton? You know, I hear they put little bits of LSD in it to make it taste better.
You want to know what's
We'll see
funny?
what happens.
I was going to ask you, what are the odds that you and I drank the same beer on one of these episodes?
Wait, did you get it?
I bought it today, but I'm not drinking it. I bought 3 different beers. Dude. It's up in my cabinet.
Go upstairs and get it, dude. Switch it out.
I was going to ask you, like, what are the odds that the 1 week that you and I are like, hey, we're drinking the same fucking thing? I mean, we used to because we recorded at the same location and we just had the same beer. But no, I bought 4 beers and that was one of them. I was like, hell yeah. But I'm drinking Blended Reality, hazy IPA from Mother Earth.
Definitely seems like a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
We just start ripping off our faces mid-podcast, we'll know.
Yeah, no one knows what's real anymore. It's all fake. Did you go and see 28 Years Later?
I saw previews of it, but I'm so disconnected from like movies now because I just hate them so much. Yeah. Was it good? Like, should I watch it?
I didn't see it.
Or is it going to be another slap in the face of sequels that I've just gotten? Or should I say the proverbial kick in the balls Hollywood's been giving me for the last 10 years? You like this franchise? Yeah, we're going to remake it. Kicks you in the balls.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
You want some Evil Dead? Kicks in the balls.
I haven't seen it, but the reviews that I've said is it's funny you mentioned a slap in the face and balls to the face. Apparently there's a massive zombie schlong in like 90% of the film, so...
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just telling you, like, I think Hollywood just hates us. I just think they hate their target audiences. Like, I just want a good zombie flick. I don't want a dong dangling helicopter dancing throughout the film. I don't know, man. Does he just fly away? Is that his thing?
Apparently,
he can't shoot me in the head.
It's like a Pringles can, man. It's like a Pringles can right there. The whole movie, I guess. I don't know, but they filmed it entirely on iPhones. On iPhones.
So brave.
So it's so brave. Have your massive dong out all the time.
I'm just telling you, like, there is something like there's like a fetish in Hollywood that they like to get a franchise and they just ruin it, just like they did with the Evil Dead. Well, just like they do with almost everything now. Star Wars, it's all just ass.
Well, they poise it because it's creative, right? They get this new creative young director who wants to reboot it, and they take it down this other avenue. And yes, most of the time it's a miss, 100%.
I think it's more of they just like destroying good things. It's how you know society's on a downward trajectory. We can't create anymore.
So intentionally, they're like, you know what? We're going to shit on it.
Well, maybe they're just not capable. I don't know. Like, maybe they're just like rich kids from like other directors that like have big egos. And it's just like, you know, I think there is something to be said about like how like somebody like builds an empire because they like built and created and they were talented, and then their kids take over and they just wreck it because they're spoiled little bastards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, look, I have 4 kids, so I just don't get to go see movies as often. But I mean, I'll agree that the caliber is not as it once was, especially when you have original ideas that they try and revamp 200, 300, 700 times. You know, it's hard, but I don't know. I'll see it when it comes out on streaming, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll watch that zombie dick at home.
Zombie slong. 28 days of zombie slong.
It's actually it's called 28 inches later. Actually.
All right. So we're trying to cover some more current events to stay, see if we can try to blow up this podcast a little bit more. And we're going to be talking about apparently a blizzard that hit Lake Tahoe. And somebody on Reddit was filming said blizzard because I guess some folks died.
Was it a blizzard?
They call it a blizzard, yeah.
Oh, damn.
But he sees an apparition, and we'll kind of show the video mid-podcast. It's kind of cool.
So for those on YouTube, check it out. It's funny because I seldomly peruse TikTok when I'm on the porcelain throne, and I did see at one point they were like, yeah, this is like 32 seconds before the storm hit, and everything's calm, everything's great. It's like a beautiful day on Tahoe. And yeah, I saw the after effects, and they're like boats that were like pushed onto the beach and collapsing over each other. It was like, what the fuck happened?
That's insane, man. That's crazy. Okay. Well, Britton, you want to kick it off, man? You want to go?
Let's do it. So, in light of keeping things, paranormal, this is called Ghost in the Blizzard, the deadly Lake Tahoe storm. It began as a tranquil June morning on Lake Tahoe. The sky was clear, the summer sun sparkling off the lake's famously blue waters. Tourists and locals alike were out boating, hiking, and enjoying the first weekend of summer. Nobody had suspected that by afternoon, this tranquil scene would turn into a nightmare. Without warning, dark clouds swept over the mountains, and the wind began to howl. By 3 p.m., a freak storm had erupted over the lake, blindsiding everybody in its path. Temperatures plunged and hail and snow started pelting down, an almost unheard of sight in June. In the words of one stunned camper caught in the high country, "I've never seen anything..." I don't know why I went like super hicky.
Insulting.
"I've never seen anything like this."
I'm just some backwards hick. I lives by the lake.
I don't know why that was my first accent that came to mind. Let me rewind a little bit. "I've never seen anything like this, and just with no warning whatsoever." I don't. We're gonna hear from Cletus. What had been You're Cleet, not Cletus. What had been a peaceful day now spiraled into deadly chaos. As the storm peaked, winds blasted up to 35 miles per hour, whipping the lake into a frenzy. Witnesses described how the wind suddenly came from the north, churning up to 8-10-foot waves on Tahoe's usually placid surface. Seasoned boat captains later said that those 10-foot troughs on Tahoe were even more dangerous than 30-foot waves on the open sea. Caught completely off guard, boaters scrambled to reach the shore. Many barely made it. One charter captain recounted fighting 7 to 10-foot swells as he raced back to the marina. On beaches, families watched in horror as the lake they had swam in moments before now raged with foaming, ocean-like waves. That'd be crazy, man. You're just enjoying a day on Lake Tahoe, and all of a sudden, the lake's just trying to fucking swallow you.
Yeah, that's. I think it's just the transition from just being a regular day to something life-threatening. It's got to be crazy, man.
That's insane. For one group out on a pleasure boat, the freak storm proved fatal. Around the lake's southern end near D.L. Bliss State Park, a 27-foot Chris Craft boat carrying 10 people was caught in the squall. Pummeled by high winds and massive waves, the boat capsized and threw all 10 passengers into the frigid water. Rescue crews rushed to the scene in the tempest. A seasonal lifeguard at Lester Beach, well, that's an unfortunate name, managed to pull a couple of victims onto nearby rocks and start CPR. Stay away from that Lester Beach.
Lester was grabbing people.
Basically. The Coast Guard arrived to find others struggling in the Whitecaps, battling hypothermia and water barely 60 degrees. Despite the heroic efforts of first responders and bystanders, the outcome was grim. 8 people lost their lives in the wreck, a tragedy that officials are calling one of the worst marine disasters in Tahoe history. When the skies had finally cleared, the extent of the destruction had emerged. Several boats were overturned or sunk, and debris littered the shoreline. Stranded boaters huddled in shock at the marinas, some being treated for injuries and exposure. Veteran residents shook their heads in disbelief. Summer squalls of this ferocity are extremely rare in the Sierra. Meteorologists later identified the event as a microburst, an intense downburst of wind that blew through the region in minutes, generating 35-mile-per-hour gusts and 10-foot waves. Nearby mountain peaks were even dusted with fresh snow as the cold front blasted through. June snowstorms in Tahoe can happen, but nothing about this felt ordinary. The communities around the lake were left reeling from the sudden loss of life and the haunting knowledge of how quickly a calm day can turn deadly.
You know what's interesting about this, too? Did you hear about the outages in, I think it was like Spain? The electrical outages?
Like at the same time?
Wasn't at the same time, but there was some electrical outages in Spain. I could be wrong in the country, so forgive me. But it was somewhere in Europe, and they said it was because of a weird atmospheric event where the atmosphere like cooled really fastly, and it just destroyed a bunch of like their power for some reason. But a lot of people on the internet are saying like they think it's because of the pole shifts that happen like every like 12,000 years. And they're saying like if that's like a precursor of what could happen if that really happens, and like it could destroy civilization. And they think it's like a cover up because it's been like super weird on how like authorities have been like not giving answers as to what caused it other than just a weird atmospheric event. I don't know. It just kind of reminded me of this.
They never want to give answers. It's like, I don't know. It's just some weird happenstance. I don't know. Stop asking questions. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Well, you'd be shocked. Just one solar storm could destroy all the transformers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And we would just be eating
cooked.
each other. I'm just kidding.
We'd be cooked.
Cooked. Okay. So let's talk about the ghostly figure in the storm. In the midst of this tragedy, an eerie story begins circulating online. As a storm raged on that fateful afternoon, one witness believes they caught something otherworldly on camera. One Reddit user by the name Diana posted a 4-second video titled "Ghosts Caught on Video During Freak June Snowstorm in Lake Tahoe, California."
We got ghosts now?
Yeah, man, crazy storms and crazy ghosts. In it, the snow chaos is visible. Wind-whipped flakes flying past the camera as a person films the bizarre June blizzard outside their cabin. But it wasn't the weather that made the clip go viral. It was what appeared for a split second amid the snow. A dim, human-shaped figure gliding between the trees. So let's go ahead and pull the clip. So let's go ahead and play it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it looks like a person running through the trees at like a freakishly... Well, it's not like a person. It's like a silhouette of a person running through the trees like super fast.
It's like a shadow blob kind of like just darting to the right. And this is one you're going to put on YouTube, yeah?
Yeah, the audience will see this. According to the poster's comments, they've been staying at Cedar Glen Lodge, cabin number 19, on Tahoe's North Shore during the storm. They started recording the falling snow, likely to document the freak weather, and instead captured something spine-chilling. In the shaky footage, filmed through the cabin window, a shadowy silhouette can be seen moving swiftly in the distance. It's vaguely person-like, black or dark gray against the white of the snow, and seems to dart across the scene in an unnatural way. Blink, and you might miss it. The figure is only visible for a moment before vanishing behind the wall of snow. Notably, the Redditor emphasized that none of their other videos from that day had any glitches. Only this one did, precisely during the ghostly sighting. To believers in the paranormal, that detail is goosebump-inducing. Could the apparition have interfered with the electronics? The eerie video quickly caught fire on the ghost subreddit, drawing both fascination and skepticism. People wanted to know, where was this? Who might that phantom be? In a follow-up, the original poster explained they were staying in cabin 19 at Cedar Glen Lodge, and the apparition was spotted directly in front of the cabin during the height of the blizzard, as a lake tragedy was unfolding nearby. The OP also noted that they later spoke to the lodge's front desk staff, who confirmed that the area is well known for having a lot of paranormal activity. I think we talked about the Tahoe bodies in a previous episode, which is actually one of our more popular ones, so check it out. In fact, just a block away stood the old Tahoe Biltmore Casino, a location legendary for its ghostly happenings. This discovery sent shivers through the online community. Was it merely coincidence that a supposed ghost was caught on camera the same day 8 lives were lost on the lake? Or could it be that one of those restless spirits was already making itself known?
I mean, before we jump in, though, like, do you think it's a ghost?
I don't know, man. I mean, it definitely, if I saw that after recording.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I would say like that. I mean, it doesn't look like a regular, like, sphere, that you see a lot. You know what I'm talking about? Like orbs. Like, it seems to be heading, it clearly has a trajectory, right? Like, it's not still. It's going at the same velocity. It's either fake or something really interesting. I mean, it could be like somebody sped up, but I don't think it is because the raindrops are going the same speed. I mean, it could be a ghost, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty compelling.
But like, the orb doesn't appear to be, if it is an orb, right? It doesn't appear to be like close to the camera. Like it genuinely looks like it's behind the tree line, which is weird.
It's not an orb at all. Like it looks, let me just pause it.
Yeah. Like it's got a human type of like
I think it's its motion that looks human. Like it almost looks like it's running, like a runner in a hoodie or something.
Right. All right. As the video spread, Reddit became divided into two camps. Those who felt that this was genuine paranormal evidence, and those who saw a more mundane explanation. Believers pointed to the timing and location as suspect. The figure appeared during a deadly storm. Perhaps, some mused, it was the spirit of a drowning victim briefly manifesting in the chaos. Others noted Tahoe's long history of ghost lore and tragic accidents. It's well known that Lake Tahoe does not easily give up its dead due to the extreme depth and cold. Over the years, numerous drowning victims have never been recovered, fueling local legends of ghosts wandering the shore. In this context, the idea of a spirit caught on camera at the scene of a tragedy didn't seem that far-fetched to believers, but the skeptics in the thread were unconvinced as they mobilized quickly to debunk the ghost. Many had argued that the apparition was in fact something far more ordinary, a bird, an insect, or even a drip of water on the camera lens. Almost immediately, users began analyzing the clip frame by frame. One commenter announced confidently, "That's a bird. It's a bird. It's a plane.
There's no way that's a bird, man. Like
that's Superman."
Maybe if you're drinking LSD, that might be a bird.
Why do you drink LSD?
I mean, it's a liquid, man.
It's definitely not a bird. If it is, that's a weird bird.
I'm like watching it over and over again. Could that be a bird? I don't think so, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a weird bird. Another had claimed to have paused the video in slow motion and saw wing-like movements. Confirmed. Watch in slow-mo. It is a bird. Skeptics noted that the figure moves in tandem with the camera panning, suggesting it was actually something on the window itself. In fact, several people spotted multiple smaller droplets sliding across the glass. The largest droplet, they argued, was what the OP mistook for a ghostly person. As one observer explained, it's clearly a raindrop on the window. It moves at the same speed and in the same direction as the other raindrops. It's out of focus because it's so close to the camera. In other words, our brains are wired to see human shapes, a phenomenon known as...
There's no way that's a raindrop.
No,
Fuck
it's
off.
not. It's not a raindrop. A phenomenon known as pareidolia, especially amid chaotic visuals like blowing snow. To these skeptics, the most haunting thing in the video was just the storm itself, and not a spirit.
While the Reddit detectives battled it out, others couldn't help but be intrigued by the OP's mention of local hauntings. Lake Tahoe's surroundings do indeed have a reputation of ghostly lore. The Tahoe Biltmore, the old casino, hotel, near where the video was filmed, is famous for its resident ghost. Employees and guests have long reported encounters with Mary, a spirit said to be a 1960s-era showgirl who met an untimely death and now roams the Biltmore's Hall in a miniskirt, eerily faceless. Over the decades, Mary's ghost has become a North Shore legend, with sightings of doors opening on their own, phantom whispers in empty corridors, and the lady in the miniskirt appearing on the ground staircase only to vanish. Paranormal investigators have flocked to the Biltmore for years due to its haunted pedigree. The fact that the front desk at Cedar Glen Lodge proactively told a guest about the Biltmore's ghost shows how ingrained these tales are. And it's not just the Biltmore. The entire Tahoe Basin has its share of spooky stories. Emerald Bay, not far from the boat accident site, is said to be haunted by spirits drawn to its beauty. One local ghost hunter recounted stopping at a scenic overlook when a man came up and said, "Isn't that lake beautiful?" But when I turned, he had vanished, and her companion hadn't seen anyone there at all. The historic Hellman-Ehrman mansion on the west shore supposedly hosts the ghosts of its former owner. and numerous old cabins and resorts quietly boast their own resident specters and Tahoe folklore. There's even an oft-repeated legend that hundreds of preserved bodies lie at the bottom of Lake Tahoe, victims of accidents whose corpses never decomposed in the cold depths, a macabre image that feeds the imagination of ghost story lovers.
Isn't it Lake Tahoe that has the tornadoes of bodies underneath?
Yeah, we did an episode about it because they go to the bottom.
Yeah, and then the pressure.
Because it's 2,000 feet and it's too cold to decompose, so they don't float back up. And there's like a current under there, so it's like a little body blender or something. In short, if any lake could be haunted, Tahoe fits the bill. Stunning and serene on the surface, but with a history of sudden violence lurking underneath. It's within this context that the Blizzard Ghost video has captured so much attention. Those inclined to believe in the paranormal see it as a contemporary addition to Tahoe's catalog of mysteries. Perhaps the apparition of a lost soul from the boat wreck, or a warning spirit connected to the lake's ancient energies. Skeptics see it as another case of myth-making around a tragedy where an optical illusion gets woven into the narrative of a haunted lake.
Damn. As the storm clouds of that June day have long since cleared, we're left with haunting questions that linger like the last mist over Tahoe's waters. 8 lives were lost suddenly on what should have been a carefree summer afternoon. A community is mourning, and a lake known for its beauty showed its deadly power. Amidst it all, one shaken traveler may have recorded something unexplainable, or perhaps merely thought that they did. So now we turn the discussion over to you, our audience. Watch the clip, look at the evidence, and consider the history. Was the spectral figure in the blizzard truly a ghost, a sign that not all of those souls went quietly, or was it simply a trick of the eye or lens, with Mother Nature's fury playing games with our perception?
Put an F in the comment section if you feel like it was a ghost, just as a fun little game. Go onto YouTube, find this video, and put F and just submit without further explanation. Also like the video, but go ahead.
Or you could just type out fuck to make it even funnier. One thing is certain. The story has made all who hear it think twice about the seen and unseen forces at work that day. Nature's wrath and maybe something preternatural converged on Lake Tahoe in June 2025, reminding us how thin the line can be between a sunny outing and the abyss.
Yeah, just put a big F in the chat or do what Britton said, but I don't know. YouTube might think we're a little bit sketchy. Anyways, we like to keep these videos around 40 minutes. We wanted to make sure that we did quality over quantity when it came to this subject. So what we have after this for you guys is just some spooky stories from Reddit that relate to the story. At least have a common theme, I would suppose. So I'll go ahead and jump in first. The first story is called Ghostly Reflections at a Lake Cabin by 727 Super 27. My wife and I were staying in her dead great-grandmother's house. It was night, and I was standing in the living room looking outside through these big bay windows that overlooked the lake. I could see in the reflection of the window that my wife was standing behind me, and I said something to her. She didn't respond, so I looked straight at her reflection and said it again. Hey, babe, blah, blah, blah. She still didn't respond, so I turned around, and she wasn't there. I called out, and she answered from the upstairs bedroom. My neck hair stood up, and my blood ran cold. I didn't have the guts to look back at the window reflection. I ran upstairs and said, I think I saw a ghost. My wife said, Yeah, probably. My great-grandmother totally haunts this place. That freaked me out. I still don't really believe in ghosts, but I can't explain what that was.
Spooky.
Spooky indeed.
This one's called Faceless Woman by the Water. And it's by What? I Hate Her Body. Interesting.
You might love that body.
When I was 13, I was biking along the waterfront in my neighborhood late at night. I saw a woman wearing a white gown standing in front of a tree. I stopped because I realized that she had no face. I thought that maybe it was a mannequin, or I just couldn't see clearly. Yeah, they have mannequins just posted outside. It's normal. So I shouted, "Hey!" She didn't respond. I rode closer until I was only 10 feet away. Still, no face. Then her head turned toward me. I bolted and went home, and I didn't mention it for years. 10 years later, a childhood friend saw the same faceless woman. 1 year after that, our mutual friend shot himself in the head a few feet from that very spot.
Oh, well, what the fuck? That
Jesus
turned.
Christ. So that went dark, man.
Yeah, it did. Okay, this one is a phantom man on the pond. Years ago, a few friends and I went to hang out in a massive graveyard at night. Stupid thing to do for bored 18-year-olds. We parked and walked down a hill, coming across a little pond. On the far side of the pond, we saw someone sitting on a rock. The figure was entirely black. We couldn't make out features, except it looked like a man wearing an old-style top hat. Stupidly, we waved and shouted, we waved and shouted, "Hi!
Hi! How are ya? Hello!"
He didn't move. That's a funny response. It's pretty funny.
Hello!
Hello! I'm calling to reach you about your car's extended warranty. He didn't move or respond, just sat still. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running towards us across the water, and then vanished into thin air, halfway across the pond. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. We all saw it happen and couldn't believe our eyes. We piled into the car and tried to start it. It wouldn't start. We were panicking. That's when we heard banging on the back of the car. It wasn't constant, just bangs every few seconds. No one was outside, at least not that we could see in the dark, but something was hitting the car. I was having a full-blown panic attack, screaming and crying for my friend to drive. My friends were freaked out and pale as a ghost, but trying to stay calm. We almost considered abandoning the car and walking to the exit, but with the banging, we were too afraid to get out. After about a minute, the banging stopped. We sat for 15 minutes trying to think about what to do. We didn't dare to step outside. Another 30 minutes passed as we kept trying the engine. We felt this heavy pressure all around us, like weights on our chests. I've never felt anything like this before. Finally, the car started and we sped out of the graveyard. The moment we crossed through the gates, all of our phones suddenly regained cell service. I'll never be able to explain what happened or why. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was there, and it was not an animal or a human.
Spooky. Okay. All right, this one's called An Unseen Mimic in the Woods from Deleted. I was 16 on a camping trip in New Mexico with my host family. I was a foreign exchange student. One evening, a few of us climbed a tree a little way from our campsite. We suddenly heard a sound that I'll never forget. The youngest daughter, 14 years old, was calling my name from the darkness, except she was actually sitting right below me, completely quiet. Whatever this thing was, it kept shouting my name in her exact voice for what felt like forever. When it finally stopped, we bolted back to camp. We told the parents what had happened. The dad's face went pale as a ghost, and he immediately told us to grab our things. We were leaving now. 5 minutes later, we were speeding out of there. And to this day, I have no idea what that was, and the dad absolutely refused to ever talk about it again. That's just, your good old friendly camping Wendigo.
God damn it. This one is called The Lost Souls After the Typhoon by Zulu Monkey. In 2013, Super Typhoon, high-end, devastated Tacloban City in the Philippines. Over 10,000 people were killed, and the city was in chaos. I moved there a few months later for work. We stayed in a damaged building at the airport. On my third night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and saw a tall, dark figure standing at the foot of my bed.
Damn.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. That's very creepy. I thought it was our office assistant, but it just stood there staring. In the dim moonlight, I realized it wasn't my office mate. In the morning, I told my roommate, who had a strong sixth sense, what I'd seen. She replied nonchalantly, "Oh, we're actually 6 in this room. 3 of them are lost souls, probably victims of the typhoon. Just pray." The hair on my arms rose. Weeks later, the two of us smelled a strong scent of orchards in our room out of nowhere. My colleague leaned in and whispered, "She's right in front of you. Don't forget to pray for her eternal repose." I was chilled. The next day, I asked an airport staffer if he knew someone who loved orchards. He said a former employee who planted orchards around the tower had died in the typhoon. The hauntings continued, but I eventually got used to it. I would go to the cathedral in town and light a candle for the lost souls around the airport. On the eve of the typhoon's first anniversary, I was riding in a jeepney, which is a public minibus, from downtown back to the airport. By nightfall, only 3 other passengers were left: a man, a woman, and a little boy. As we entered a dark stretch of the road with no working streetlights, the man suddenly shouted in the local language for the driver to let him off. I called to the driver to stop, which he did momentarily. I assumed they got off, but when we neared the airport, I realized that 3 passengers had vanished. I was the only one on the vehicle. The driver pulled up to the brightly lit terminal, and I finally saw his face. He looked terrified. I paid my fare, and he told me something that made my hair stand on end. He said, "You were completely alone back there, even before we reached the dark part of the road. When you said someone wanted to get off, I sped up. I heard other drivers tell stories like this. Did you see them?" I nervously nodded. "They must be typhoon victims," he said. "Some say they don't know they're dead. Pray for them." As I got off the jeepney, I noticed the bench where the passengers had been sitting was soaking wet, yet it hadn't rained. It finally dawned on me. They really were lost souls from the flood. Damn.
I've heard other drivers tell those stories.
I've heard them. We bus drivers, we talk about it. They get on our buses, and they like to leave at weird times.
I kidnapped a bunch of kids once. Never
I've been a bus driver for 40 years, and I'm only 36.
They call me Large Marge.
That shit scared me as a kid, man.
That was gnarly, dude. That was unexpected.
I was so scared of that.
I think I shit my pants.
Ahead, man.
All right. It's our last story of the night, saved from a cliff in Yellowstone from Rock Puma. This is my dad's story from the early 1980s when he worked a summer in Yellowstone National Park. One day, he and a friend, we'll call him Mark, hiked to the top of a mountain and camped there overnight. They set their tent inside an old Vision Quest pit, a shallow pit dug out by Native Americans long ago. Late that night, my dad woke and went out of the tent to piss. He climbed out of the pit and walked a little way off. Suddenly, he felt a hand grab his shoulder and yank him back.
It was a hairy hand.
He called out, "Mark, what are you doing?" But nobody was there. Dad clicked on his flashlight. Nobody was around. But when he shone the light at his feet, he saw just a couple more steps would have sent him plummeting off a steep cliff into the darkness. He hurried back to the tent. Dude, that would suck. You go out for a piss and you just fall off a cliff. What a way to die.
I'd be pissed.
What a way to piss on yourself. The next morning, Dad told his friend about it. Mark looked stunned and said, "Well, I know this sounds crazy, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw an Indian man standing outside of our tent. Whatever it was that grabbed my father's shoulder that night, it saved his life. He met my mom in Yellowstone shortly after, and here I am writing this story today. I don't know. Those like weird circumstances, man, they always make you think. Like,
it's called serendipity, buddy. It's those weird things that seem to happen that seem like really low probability, but they happen at the right moment.
Things that make you go,
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know, man. It's weird. All I can tell you is if I went for a piss in the middle of the night and almost fell off a cliff, I would, I'd rethink a thing or two, you know, just to be honest.
I don't careful when you piss.
Yeah,
always map out a pre-piss location.
Gotta find that pre-piss spot, a pre-piss pit. All right, folks. Well, that's going to end it for us tonight. Thank you all for being patient in our extended absence. We've definitely apologized, but we are back to our regular scheduled programming. We'll be back weekly. As always, want to give a huge shout out to our paid supporters of the show, Soylent Cleat, Cleat Feet, Lara, Mothman, Conklin Family, and Lou. Your paid support of the show is tremendously helpful, and if you yourself would like to join these paid supporters, there's a link below and several tiers to choose from, as well as a link that will take you to a page for a one-time beer donation to the fund, so we can go find some awesome beers to drink while we tell you our scary stories.
If you're listening to us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really helps us get us out there. As always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.